Good evening, welcome, and I'll convene this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Queens with the Pledge of Allegiance, if you'll join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Note for the record that Mike Stott is absent today. We have some announcements. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, everyone. Glad that you're here with us. There will be a Board of Education meeting on the 8th of January at 6 p.m. at the RCS High School Library. And After School Arts Club at the RCS Community Library on January 9th from 4 to 5 p.m. Registration is required, ages 9 to 13. We also still have a public hearing that's still open for the sewer rates. And the lectern is open if anybody would like to make any comments or questions. If not, we can move on to the approval of minutes. Everyone received their minutes from the 12th of December and reviewed them. I'd like to make a motion to accept them to the record.
I wasn't here, so I'll let one of you guys second.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor of approving?
Aye.
That's approved. All right, let's go into our reports. Supervisor's report for November 2024. General fund balance forward is $365,772.97. Receipts of $1,138,320.30. Disbursements of $1,199,651.99. Balance of $304,441.28. Night class interest earned $11,460.89. Consolidated $647.46. Receipts of 3 cents. No disbursements, and a balance of $647.49. Part-town balance forward $37,316.03, with receipts of $2,295.22. Disbursements of $26,288.37. Balance of $13,322.88. Night class earned interest $6,608.54. Highway part town balance forward $156,421.56. Receipts of $521.49. Disbursements of $65,602.73 for a balance of $91,340.32. Earned interest of $1,693.46. Highway town-wide balance forward is $12,706.09. Receipts of 11 cents. Disbursements of $7,931.46. Balance of $4,774.74. Earned interest of $188.54. Sewer balance forward is $126,518.48. The receipts of $9,959.24. Disbursements of $48,479.57. Balance of $87,998.15. Earned interest of $1,131.16. Trust and agency balance forward $20,665.40. Receipts of $204,809.60. Disbursements of $206,585.92. Balance of $18,889.08. Police forfeitures remains at a penny. Capital projects balance forward $12,010.50. Receipts of 10 cents. No disbursements. Balance of $12,010.60. Earned interest of $302.37. Section 8 HUD. Balance forward $10,090.10. Receipts of $55,114.54. Disbursements of $56,872. Balance of $8,332.64. Total reconciled balances is $541,757.18 with earned interest of $21,384.96. And Grove Cemetery savings account is at $928.58 with earned interest of $113.08. Newman's Hollow Cemetery $546.80 with $11.31 earned interest. In the Alcove Cemetery at $320.97 earned interest of $52.76, totaling $1,796.35 and total earned interest at $177.15. Bank of Greene County and National Bank of Coxsackie are both collateralized at $250,000. I'm sorry, the coverage is $250,000 and collateralized at $1,487,714.35. So year to date for general, for earned interest at night class is $34,415.34. Part-town $19,839.23. Highway part-town $3,525.61. Town-wide $489.04. Sewer $2,934.20. Capital projects H $979.37. Grove Cemetery $284.99, and Queens Hollow Cemetery $28.51, Alcove at $132.97. Year to date $62,629.26. I make a motion to accept the report.
I'll second that.
And for just discussion purposes, this $994,000 withdrawal is for the 9W closing of Town Hall, the new Town Hall.
Also for discussion, my supervisor's report is not signed. Do we have a signed copy?
Yeah.
Thank
Get a
you.
copy of that.
Also, with regards to the night class, do you get like monthly statements?
We do.
And then you generate those monthly statements into this report?
Yeah.
Is there a way that the board could get copies of the monthly statements that are provided as well?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So starting next month, I would like to see that. And then we also talked about, possibly revamping our investment policy and, using resolutions for additions and withdrawals.
Yes, so I have one of my colleagues in my office is working on that. Our goal is to have it ready for the organizational
That
meeting.
would be great.
So, yeah, that's the goal.
Okay, great.
All in favor of accepting the supervisor's report?
Aye.
Report is accepted. Candace, you want to take it away?
Town clerk monthly report for November 2023. In the A fund, which consists of the water penalties, dog licensing, minor sales, water fees, town clerk fees, we collected a total of $2,855.81. In the B fund, which is death certificates, building permits, and searches, we collected a total of $3,412.50. For the sewer, we collected a total of $3,648.26. So our total local shares remitted was $9,916.57. We paid $22 to New York State Agriculture and Markets, $67.50 to the New York State Department of Health, $1,015.15 to New York State DEC. So total non-local revenue of $1,104.65. Your total state, county, and local revenues was $11,021.22.
I make a motion to accept the town clerk's monthly report for November 2024 as submitted.
Any discussion?
Second. I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Which accepted. Chief, you want to take it away first? Thanks.
Thank you. For the month of November 2024, the Cleveland Town Police Department answered 798 calls for service. Those calls for service resulted in a total of 10 criminal arrests. There were 146 traffic stops affected. And of those stops, 85 traffic tickets were issued. We made one arrest for DWI. We investigated one personal injury auto accident, and we investigated 18 property damage accidents. The cameras from the Geralman Park and Queens Landing sites are now installed, in place, and operational. So that's good news from the grant money and the other funds that were forwarded. We have both of them under the same management system, so we actually can monitor those cameras from the police department downstairs. We also placed 3 vehicles that were out of service and surplus, no longer useful, in an auction. And we've successfully auctioned off all 3, totaling over $8,000 that came back to the town. One of those cars has been sitting there for like 4 years, so it's good that we got rid of them. Actually, that's the one that brought the most money. Who knew? I don't know why that is.
It's a classic.
So we also put the entire department through a TASER 10 training. It's a new TASER, electronic non-lethal weapon device that are being carried. It's a TASER 10, and everyone attended training and successfully completed that training. And I would also mention that next month at the January board meeting, we will have statistics, all of our activity for 2024.
Make a motion to accept the police report for November 2024. Second that? I do, for purposes of discussion. No, I just made a motion. Second.
So,
Candace,
Mr. Donnelly
you
is-
have it.
Linda, I'm gonna say Linda made the motion and Donnelly seconded it.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Chief, is there a camera app like the highway has at Geralman that we can have on our phones to monitor the?
Yeah, there is an app, and it's a DMSS. You have it on your phone, Dan?
But it's not the same as the parks.
Right.
It's from Mr. Program.
Oh, okay, this is a different
Yeah.
platform. I'll check with the
Yeah.
vendor,
Okay.
consulting firm that installed our cameras and is our support. So I'll look into that if you want to have the link. I believe it can be done. I'll get back to you on that, though.
Also, is property damage, is that high, 18 for a month?
Yeah, it was. I think it was reflective of some bad weather and only the first snow. Jesus, what? I forget how to drive.
All in favor of accepting the police report?
aye.
Accepted. Jason's obviously not here. Have him do that next month. Thank you.
Hey, board. So we are reading November of 24. We had a total flow come through the plant, which is only like 12 million. Average flow was 400,000. We percent removal on DOD and TSS to 97 and 98%, which is good for us. Or that's where we usually are. We removed about 39 ton of solids to the landfill. Then we had 3.26 inches of rain for the month of November. And, so we handled this storm pretty well that we had there. So, but we did have, and just off the during the month of November, we also had a problem with the lift station and at Riverview. So I had, a company come in and check it and everything. We didn't think the pump was actually working very good. Found out it wasn't working at all. It was running, but it wasn't pumping anything. So we shut it down completely. So just at that lift station, we have one pump running and that. So, just so that you know that. So that's where we are there. But, getting prices on just trying to fix it, because we already were looking at, to replace everything, and it was around 85, 90,000. So just to replace everything and upgrade that. But right now, I'm just trying to get prices to see about just getting the impeller changed and they have some wear rings that go on to kind of replace that, because those are 20-some years old. I think they were put in 2001, so 23 years old. So we're looking at, they just wore out from all the grit and the roads and stuff like that. They just wear out well, that isn't pumping at all. So we're down to one pump there. Just worry about that, because if that fails, then we're in trouble. But we're trying to get pricing, but with the holidays, it was a little tough to get pricing. I just wanted, before I forgot, I wanted to let you guys know about that. So for the month of November, we spent $12,808.59. And we had also in the month of November closed down leachate for the winter. So it's just heat on out there, everything's winterized. It won't be running again until April, March, April. I go out and check to make sure the heat's on and that it's plowed out so that when they make it a delivery for gas, they can get in and out. And that's the month of that.
Thanks. Make a motion to accept the sewer report for November.
No second.
Any discussion?
So just for discussion, hey Keith, how long do you think before we have numbers and prices for?
I'm hoping by the first of the year, I'll get a hold of him tomorrow and see if we can get some by next week.
Yeah.
He was working on it, and like I said, it was just before the holidays. And that's what he didn't get back to me. He didn't get a price on it. Whether if he could just get the blue and the wear rings or something like that. So that's what we're looking at, trying to get a quick fix, but we'll see.
And is that something that you and your guys would fix, or is that something that we outsource?
We could have them do it because they brought it in. We could do it. We just wouldn't be as fast as they would be, but I'm thinking we could do it.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering.
Straighten it off but it'd be the place, I've never done it. I'd have to be honest with you. I've never done it.
Okay.
But I've had them out and taken them and out, but never replaced one.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So like if you put these parts in, if they put them in, I'm sure there's a warranty. Does the warranty go away if you do it, or does it matter?
I don't think there is really a warranty
Okay.
when it comes to that kind of stuff, because you're just replacing something. And then when they want to do it, the only time I've noticed anything they warranted was when they replace everything completely.
Okay,
When they just change parts, there's no guarantee.
all right.
It's just, unless we buy something, like when we bought the motors or the pump, like that has some kind of warranty, but when you just start changing parts and stuff, no.
Okay.
So when it comes to, Dan?
Do we have a plan in case this pump, that's the only pump we have, goes down?
Yeah, I was just about to say, so we're gonna have to decide between whether we replace, because that estimate came in last month at 84,000, 85,000. And we wanted to just take care of it, but now that you're saying the impeller blades are all worn out and there needs to be a fix, are we gonna have to make a decision on spending the 85?
No, it all depends on what, they do, everything needs to be replaced. No, there's no guarantee about it, but I'm just, we don't know how long that's gonna take before we even get to the grant money, the money that we're looking at, I guess, for the grant. Is it this year? Is it 2 months away? I don't know, but with the way the storms are going, and, it's winter time, so you got a lot of rain, snow, and then we get rain and warms up. That's extra flow. I've been kind of watching it. That one doesn't have much inundation into it, so you don't have any high flow events, and it doesn't seem to change much, fluctuate like you do in the other parts of the system. So I'm not so concerned that much. It's just the growth of and everything, or just the point that one's also 24 years old, and you're running, and that one's in the same, we're just lucky that we have one running. I'm not saying that one pumping 120, obviously it doesn't pump 125 gallons a minute because I can sit there and watch it, and it takes so long for it to pump down. Where when I go to the other lift station, it has the same setup, and it pumps down within, a minute or two. Where this one's taking 15 minutes. So I know this one's just limping along. So, I'm hoping that he can get the stuff. Even we might just replace both impellers and wear rings, just make sure that, because what happens if we get this one fixed and then this one breaks,
Yeah.
If he can get the stuff, I want to get him to fix, because like I said, we don't know if we're out 6 months, a year. But I need to fix now, just in case,
Absolutely.
So, that's where we are right now. That's why I'm like, because with the holiday, I didn't even think to call him today, but definitely tomorrow. And see what he's doing about that, because he was working on it. He was just trying to track it all down, because they're, so old, and if they can get them.
Any further discussion?
Thank you.
Thanks, Keith. Make a motion, well, did we?
Yeah.
All in favor?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Dan?
Good evening,
How you doing, Dan?
Supervisor Board, welcome back, Linda. Hope you feel better. Highway report for November 2024. As everybody knows, we had our first snowstorm Thanksgiving Eve and Thanksgiving Day. We got about 5 inches in the hills, so everybody was out. No issues there. We used some salt and stuff, but everything went pretty well. And we've been fighting these nuisance storms as we go along. We took down the veterans banners on November 14th in conjunction with the VFW and the Village of Ravena. We also helped the Village of Ravena with some flagging efforts on Church Street when they were digging up a water main. Moving on to the garage, we completed our one-person plow training on November 13th. This is something that's in the CSEA union contract that has to be done every year. So we did that. It really sheds a lot of information about being in the plow truck by yourself, how to look at the roads, how to look at the conditions, how to look at the temperatures, the traffic, the lights, the inspections. There's a lot of information, and we've done it over the last 3 years, so it's really good training. It is expensive, but I think it's worth every penny of it. We put our front tire chains on the Volvo loader. That's the machine that we use if a truck goes off the road to help get the truck out of the ditch. And then if we can't get it, then we'll move on to either somebody with an excavator or a Roberts towing up in Albany. November 20th, the crew attended a workplace training down here at the town hall. So I want to say thank you to the supervisor's office and Candace and everybody that helped make that event go on. I think Linda Ziegler was kind of ramrodding that, so thank you, Linda, for that. We replaced the front tires on the front of C5, a couple on the back we had, and Rensselaerville was nice enough to give us 2 tires. They felt sorry for us, so we took their tires. In exchange, we give them waste oil. So Jason's a good guy, used to work for us, so we have a good relationship with them. We also put new tires on in front of C16. That's our tandem. Nothing going on in town halls. I check the heat every day. It seems to be working fine. They're doing a good job cleaning the walkways and plowing, so kudos there to our new guys that are taking care of that. Moving on to the parks. On November 15th, we took the decision to shut down and winterize the bathrooms. I know it was an unpopular decision, but I can't take a chance with the weather. If it turns cold, there's no heat in these buildings. We can't afford to have, especially at Drolman, that's a $9,800 water system. And I'm not gonna have that freeze up and break on my watch, okay? So I know there was some grumbling on the outside, but it is what it is. They're both down, they're both winterized. And it was done by a third-party contractor, so he's a professional and he guarantees that it's gonna be good, so. There was a big tree down in Drolman that the crew went over and cut up. I don't know if you guys are out there, but as you pull in the main entrance, you look to the left, big tree and right kind of by the disc golf, so we cut it up and got it out of there. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, I'm curious about the, I heard that people were calling the supervisor's office, asking for porta potties and things like that. And once the park is off-season, because we go there all the time to walk the dog, and usually it's not even plowed, so it is like an off-season park. You go there sort of at your own risk.
So I got a call about January 1, a big disc golf event, so I'm probably gonna get a porta potty for the day. You know, people are gonna be there using it. So,
So my follow-up question is, moving forward with Geralman, monetizing that money, is there a heating system that we could keep those open? I mean, there would be a lot of things that we'd have to.
we could look at it, I mean, electric heat it'd have to be. We can certainly look at it. You know, I think it should have been put into plans. It would have been a lot easier, just left it open, right? But we could certainly look at it, you know, maybe make it happen for next year.
Yeah, we've been having discussions about.
Because I know there's nice days in the winter and stuff, and people go there a lot, and then we do plow it, it's just at the bottom of the list when we do plow it, you know? But a lot of people do use the place.
It seems almost more popular in the winter time. I can't believe how many people are out there. So we're kind of working through ideas of how to, you know.
Let me work on, between now and the springtime, on putting some electric baseboard heat in there. I'm pretty sure we do have the power. So let me work on that, and I'll come back with some quotes and diagrams.
I also got your email about, remember,
Yeah, so again, if you guys I'd like you guys to come along sometime and kind of see what the guys do, see the roads, see the hills, see the integrity of the department. And when you ride along in a 2007 truck, and when you come down a hill like this, you wonder if the truck's gonna stop. And a $5 park could make it not stop. So thank to the good Lord above that, you know, you don't roll over it.
Yeah.
So, I do the hills myself, because I'm not comfortable with other people doing the hills. They're tricky, they're steep, they're very dangerous. And we're not there yet because we have a brand new crew. As you guys know, we don't have a succession plan. So we had 4 guys with 20 years experience retired. And nobody wants to come plow snow for the rate that we offer. So you get brand new green people. We do have a couple people get their license, but they're just very inexperienced when it comes to plowing. So, you know, we take it one storm at a time and, you know, just go slow. And we're doing good. The guys are doing good. They're very eager to learn. No issues there, but I'd like to see you guys come once in a while and see what is the challenges that we are faced with.
no, I look forward to it. Like I said, when you sent the email, I'm in the end of my crazy season with my
Absolutely.
private stuff, and but once we get through the first of
And
the
I think
year,
it's
I wanna
good
be out, so.
when we start working on budget season and stuff, you guys can kind of see and see what, you know, what goes on. I think see what the guys do. So I just think it's something fun to do.
Another thing I have is the mayor called me today about the backhoe. What's the situation?
So the previous highway superintendent bought the backhoe. It's a rubber tired John Deere backhoe. I'm not sure why. It's brand new. I mean, it was purchased brand new. It's 2019. It's only got about 98 hours on it. We don't have a big use for it. So they approached me about selling it to them. I haven't gave it much thought because we're kind of right in the middle of the snowstorms and the holidays. One thing that we have, if we want to do that, one thing we have to do is we have to put it out for bid. You just can't sell it to them. You know what I mean? So we have to put it out for the highest bidder. So it's a lot of footwork for me to make it happen. We'd like to buy a bigger mini excavator because the one we have is really small for some of the projects that we do. So I just haven't gave it much thought, and I was going to run it by you guys at some point. But we don't use it. We very, very rarely use it. So we could trade it or sell it for something that we could utilize. Just haven't got there.
But there's a deadline we have till.
Well, I told Lee, I said, it probably won't, he wanted an answer by the 31st. And I said, it's probably not gonna happen that quick. So he was looking for a letter of intent, but, like I said, it's gotta be put out for bid. Highest bidder takes it, you know. So.
Yeah, that sounds like a process, even if you finish it tomorrow.
It certainly is a process, so. But I'll chat with you guys. And I'm an iron guy. I like to have an iron around because when you don't have it, you can't get it. You know what I mean? So I like having it, but I will be honest with you, we don't use it. It's not something the highway department generally use, but I don't know why you bought it, so it was before me.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll keep you up on that.
Yeah, thanks,
All
Dan.
right.
Make a motion to accept the highway department report for November.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so I guess I'll make another call if anybody wants to, speak about sewer rates. Now's the time before we close the public hearing.
Do you guys have the increases? I don't know, I haven't heard what the increases are.
We do. In 2024, the village was $42,476.89, and for 2025, this is monthly, is $44,000. Hamlet in 2024 at $226.24. In 2025, 2 times per year is $260.26. So like a $33 increase 2 times a year. Stonehouse Hill, $240 in 2024 and $291 in 2025.
I think the village, I'm a village user, so I believe the village sets our rates, correct?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Right?
I think they had to approve it.
All right, thanks for that, Supervisor.
And I think just to make a correction on Stonehouse Hill for indebtedness, I think there was a question about that. This is their last year, so they are still, this is their last year for paying that off.
Will be closed, you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
All right, so if there's no further discussion, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing on the sewer rates.
Motion to close the public hearing on the sewer rate.
Second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, you wanna make a motion to close next the workshop and old business? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so I don't know that it would be considered old business, but, we are going to have a, workshop on January 2nd at 6:00 PM. So I'd like to make a motion, to have the town clerk, notice that, workshop meeting, for January 2nd at 6:00 PM.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, onto the resolution. So this,
Under old business, I wasn't here for the last meeting, and I know there was supposed to be a meeting, and then there was a subsequent meeting with the supervisor and the town attorney. Where are we at with respect to the electric grant with the port?
Sure, so we did have a meeting with representatives of Empire State Development, Albany County, NYSERDA.
well, NYSERDA wasn't there.
Albany County.
NYSERDA was not there.
Empire State Development. We participated. There were 6 to 10 people on the call. I can get you their names. I thought it was a productive discussion. They think maybe the next step would be for them to come in and actually meet with the board, hear concerns that you have, talk about, any answers that they have. And so what we talked about in terms of next steps is us coming up with a list of sort of questions and additional information that the board would like, that they know of in advance. We can send them that, which would let them decide who would need to be here to make that presentation. We talked about trying to schedule it maybe at one of your workshop meetings, so say the second Thursday of the month rather than a fourth Thursday when it's just a fuller agenda. I think we could probably also propose a special meeting for that, but the next step is for us to get them some type of list and maybe some proposed dates, and they'll come in and present.
Is this something that we're trying to do sooner than later? Is there a time?
We have to.
Oh, yeah.
We only have till November before November will be 2 years.
Do we have any idea how soon they wanna get this done, or, what are we looking at? Do you think, based upon your meeting, or, what are we looking at? Like, how soon do they wanna have this meeting? Are we talking like January, February, or are we talking like, October? I mean,
No,
it
I would
sounds
say-
like this is some type of, some urgency to this.
My impression was that they would prefer to have a meeting sooner than later, but that they need enough advance time for the meeting so that they can prepare. So, I don't think they'd want to come in, say, the first half of January, but if we could get them some dates, maybe second half of January into February, that probably would be a time frame that would make sense for them.
Can I make a suggestion? Maybe set a deadline for questions. So maybe all your questions have to be in by January 20th, and then at least you have that prepared so you can go to them and see how long they have to prepare.
I like that idea.
Yeah, there's an added wrinkle too, because we have to see what the project is. So the last step that I had with, I think, Luke Rogers or Zach Collins suggested to contact Carver Co. for what the project is, because the funding is in place, but we don't know what the project is. We don't have a project in place. We don't know where it is, what the size is, where the wire's gonna run. So that's the next step for us, and I was gonna contact you. I thought you were in Indiana. You wrote that email. You're back from there?
I drove out one day, saw my son, drove back the next day.
Okay, I thought you were gonna be there for a few days.
No.
So that's probably a tomorrow
The
thing.
grant isn't contingent upon a project being in place. The grant was just for the electrical upgrade, but to my knowledge, there wasn't it wasn't based upon a project.
Well, typically that's how projects work. You have a project and then you have the funding, but this one seemed to go funding first.
Well, the project is the electrical upgrade.
Right.
That's the project.
Right.
And that's what the grant is for.
Okay, so we'll hopefully see that.
I wanted to ask what it was for, because I thought.
Isn't it a substation?
Yes.
A
They
substation
need a substation to increase
typically
the power.
either increases when it comes from a power company, either decreases it or increases it depending.
So maybe I would suggest is that we come up with some questions that we have, but shouldn't, the port also be here to actually describe their project to us and what they're going to do with the grant money, if that's where we go?
Yeah, I mean, and I think that was maybe some of the discussion on the call was that I don't think the port, they did not have a representative on the call, but that they might participate in any meeting to present, answers that they could provide to any of the outstanding questions like the supervisors.
Yeah. And I don't know that we'll be able to generate all of the questions that would be asked until a full presentation is provided. That's the other thing. So I can come up with a couple of questions to present to them, but until I have a full knowledge of what the project entails and what we as the town are going to have to do to facilitate, I'm not going to be able to just throw out questions that are going to be, full and complete.
Yeah. Well, I think what we thought is that at least it's a start of a framework. I don't think, we wouldn't convey to them that this is an exhaustive list of questions, right? And that additional, we'll flag for them the fact that additional questions will be generated by the discussion and the presentation, but at least it's a framework to start the discussion so that they can come in and know where to begin.
I thought that it was laid out pretty well. I thought that when you looked at the grant and the Empire State and NYSERDA pretty much listed what they could do with that money. But they need us because the money's coming through us to be able to do this. It's not so much a project like they're gonna build houses or factories as much as an upgrade in power so they can continue to go on with projects. Otherwise, they don't have the power to do that. That's how I understood it, unless I'm simplifying it.
No, I think that's.
I think where you're going with that, Lynn, is they got so many buildings up there, the lines can't supply enough power, so we're gonna
Right.
substation to boost the power
Exactly.
so they can grow, because, they wanna do that offshore wind thing was supposed to go through, they needed power for that.
Exactly.
Just for the office buildings, all the buildings he has up there with all the power, I'm sure it's got a
Right.
load on that
correct,
line,
right,
you know what I
that's,
mean? I think that's why I was asking what it was for, because that was my assumption, that they just wanted more power so they could grow to get bigger.
exactly,
You
and
know,
they're,
bring in more businesses and stuff like
they're
that.
not expanding their footprint at
Yeah.
all.
And it's my
That was
understanding
that.
that it's grant money to be used on the existing port footprint as it exists. It doesn't expand beyond the port footprint.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know why we're arguing over, you know, I mean, it's to be used to upgrade the electric in the port. And our decision, I think, is to be ones that, are we gonna facilitate the grant ourselves? Are we gonna give it to somebody else to facilitate? Or are we gonna work in partnership with somebody?
But if we don't act,
We could lose
within
it.
2 years, we'll lose it.
Yeah.
And 2 years will be, November will be 2 years.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I just heard vague of it over the time, you know, I just never knew what it was actually for.
Okay, that's where we're at.
Yeah, I just don't wanna see it just sit and we squander an opportunity to, one, to be in a position, I think, of negotiating power too, when it comes to this grant, you know, with it as well.
It's a burden on the community. Really, because it grows.
Correct.
Alright.
Supervisor, do you want to give an update on town hall?
Yes, I reached out to, after our last meeting, I reached out to MJ with a very specific minimal list of work to be done. Essentially the work that I asked for in June, but somehow didn't get translated properly. So very precisely, I told him exactly what we needed, and Jenny Littman said, yes, of course I could provide that. So a proposal essentially. We already have a proposal for professional services from LaBerge. And when we get one from MJ, whose ever number is smaller, that's what I'll vote for. So we're asking for the same exact work to be done, and we'll just see where the numbers lie. So this was a few days. This was last week. Typically, I wait 2 weeks, so I'm shooting for the 30th to follow up on it, unless they come before the 30th, and looking forward to seeing the numbers.
Yeah, I saw your email on December 18th. And just to confirm, we are fully closed on the property.
Yeah,
It is the ownership of the town of Queens.
Yep.
Okay.
we're in the process of switching the electric, and well, we're not switching the propane. We got a pretty good price on that, so we're just doing the minor details of electric and.
Are we adding that building and the property to our insurance? Is that being done?
Yeah, all those details are being worked out in the supervisor's office. Steve's got, or Fonzo's got a list in front of him, so he's working those out.
And what about the area in there? Like, are we gonna plow that area? Are we gonna clean up that area? Like, what are we gonna do, like, short term, like right now? Like, so we own the building. If we get a snowstorm, we're gonna plow it?
Yeah, I'd imagine we would.
So is somebody going there? Yeah, we'll definitely plow it if there are people
Being
going in and
used.
out of there. Or-
I mean, I almost called you to maybe take that sign down, but I don't see a pressing need to give you more work. But if you feel like plowing it,
Community care or the which sign you talking about?
not the community care sign, just the
Sale sign?
yeah, it's still for lease or whatever. I've been there a few times checking the buildings in the weather just to see how they're functioning, make
You
sure.
can move it, you know, so it doesn't look like it's still for sale. The sign,
Yeah.
but I think it's their sign, right?
Yeah, it's not our side.
Whoever the realtor was, we can move it off to the side. That's not a problem.
But we're heating the building?
Yeah, we're getting in contact with Roland J. Down because they were the ones that put the heating elements, the units up there, and they've been servicing it for years. At the closing, John Carney gave me the list of people that he used, even though we still bid things out depending on the services that we're using. But typically,
We'll start cleaning the parking lot.
Yeah.
So nobody gets hurt.
yeah,
No problem.
that makes sense.
You had sent an email about a meeting that you had with the village and Keith to discuss questions and concerns regarding fuel cost and equipment repairs.
Yeah.
You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, we had a meeting with the village. They had some concerns about things such as water bottle costs and I don't think that they should be paying for that, and they didn't either, and I think it's reasonable to say that, we think that sewer wastewater treatment plant can pay for their own bottled water. There was issues about mileage, which, I think we can work with either mileage meters, somehow, because another thing that we have yet to do, going back to mileage, is doing the mileage policy. We don't really have one. So, we'll have to work on that together to see what we want to do to address the situation of fuel costs, and I think a mileage meter would probably, in the town vehicles, I think logbooks would be a pain in the butt, maybe just, I don't know what they go for, we haven't researched it yet. But just have mileage meters in the vehicles so that we know what fuel's being spent where.
Yeah, there were just more concerns, like, they figured they paid for everything inside the gate. And they didn't wanna pay for us to run and get stuff with the truck. That's what they were basically, they didn't wanna pay for gas in the truck, so, or maintenance on the truck, oil, tire change, any of that stuff, maintenance of the truck. They already paid for the cost of the truck, 75%, they're not paying for the maintenance of it. Because, you need a truck to go someplace, so they wanna pay for that, but they're not gonna pay for the maintenance, so they don't wanna do that, and the gas. They thought, well, maybe just the 2 months that we run to Albany, the 2 days that we run to Albany a month, they would pay for it, but it was just like, you're splitting hairs, I mean, so it's either they don't pay for gas, or, they've already purchased a vehicle, they don't pay for any maintenance on it. That's that one. And then, basically, they always wanna make sure that anytime I'm outside the plant, that I keep track of those hours of lift stations out in the collection system, or, leachate. Because, they only pay for what's inside the gate, and that, so that's that, and then just me to, like, on the Persico bill, making sure that we write everything down, that's for the sewer plant. Because they were getting bills that they shouldn't have been getting, and they're spending time looking through them, they have questions and that, but like Persico's bill, they're not writing like, this is for lift station, this is for this or that. So when they look at a bill, they see a bill for $300, they're like, what's that for? And then you look at the stuff, I could buy that for any place, not the leachate and stuff, so they want me to, label what it's for on the bills. So that's what I gotta start, well, I'm gonna start now, so it makes it easier for them. And because but that was basically what the meeting was about, because they come quarterly, we go over the bills. And so those are some of the questions, the Crystal Rock water, they didn't wanna pay for that, because the village department, they have a water system, so they didn't wanna pay for that. But that was basically all it was, just those, the gas and stuff like that, mains to the vehicle.
So are they gonna provide like an official proposal for the town board to consider, or is this like a request and we're going to honor it just based upon the request?
Well, the question now is, how are we gonna do it? How are we gonna keep track of it? So,
Some of it is record keeping.
yeah, it's like vouchers.
But it was like, they basically wanted us and their board, like us to say, okay, they don't want, like, they basically wanted to say, they don't wanna pay for gas and maintenance in the truck. Because they're already paying for inside the gate.
Well, to be clear, they were saying they wanna pay for gas and maintenance for their specific, that's why a mileage meter would work. And then we could discuss what the cost per mile is, and I think that would be a good in between, compromise. I mean,
it's not tough,
yeah, you just make it as simple as you can for yourself with technology. I don't think you need to be writing in
We
logbooks.
just do it out of our budget.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a lot, it's just gas.
Right.
We have it inspected once a year and change the oil twice a year. I mean, we haven't bought tires on any vehicle there ever. I mean, the one truck's got 17,000 and it's a 17. We've got, because we use it more because they have to, and we go to school with it out the, that's got 28,000 miles on it. That's a 19, or, so.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I just don't think that the village should be going to Keith, directly and,
Really?
requesting or.
Yeah, that's why
You know,
we all have
I
the
mean,
meeting.
Right. Well, no, you and Keith had a meeting with them. I think this is something that should be discussed at a joint village town board meeting.
Sure, yeah, we could do that.
But that's what they brought up, is we do the meeting, or the quarterly thing.
Right.
And that's what they brought it up the last time and everything, but this time they were, wanted us to address it better, basically.
Okay.
And that we said, I said, well, that's up between the board, not me. I can give you the information, but that's up between your board and the board to discuss what you wanna pay for.
Right.
So that's where I left it at. That's up to you guys.
Exactly. Yeah.
So basically, we were supposed to come back and let you guys know, and then you guys could business it and then reach out to them.
Do we have a joint village?
It's in
Do we have a
January.
All right. Yeah. So we should put that on the agenda.
Do you have one on there? Didn't we have it for the
January
15th?
15th.
15th,
January
yeah.
15th, you have it.
January's gonna be a busy month.
Where was the last one, here?
No, I think
Yeah.
it's bad.
No, I think it was here. Was the last one.
Last
before
one was
going
here.
to
It's in their place. It should be in their place.
So then the only other thing that I would bring up that I had for like old business and stuff is just, the civil senior housing pilot, and Mike's not here, so I don't think that it's fair to discuss it now, but, just make sure you've read all the information from,
Well, Rich is working on negotiations.
We are looking into that, and Candace actually brought up the very good point that there are some outstanding taxes already associated with that property.
Okay.
And so one of the things we need to confirm is exactly what they're proposing in terms of what would happen with that, what's actually permissible, because some of it's now been re-levied, as I understand it, on the county tax rolls, right? So it's really more of a county matter in that regard than it is for us. So I'm just trying to confirm those details, and then I'll be able to report back.
Thank you.
That's the end of old business?
That's all I had, yeah. Anybody else has something?
Good.
All right, let's move on to resolutions.
We'll table the first one.
Yeah, 127-24.
Right.
We're gonna table because we have a question of revision in November 25th.
Yeah, so just for the record on that, so just to bring everybody up to speed, so on November 25th, 2024, we had a resolution 127-24. That was passed. Mr. Bruno was not here, but we all voted in favor 4-0. And there was all this money that was being transferred. And then on this agenda, this resolution is labeled revised or amended resolution. Again, it's the same resolution number, so we just need clarification before we go forward with this resolution as to why the numbers are different and there's one less transfer. So there's only one on the amended or revised one. There's only one mention of A3120.1 law enforcement personnel services. There's two on our November 25th, 2024 resolution. So again, and it's got to be made clear if this is indeed a revised or amended, the body of the resolution has to indicate that this is revised and basically that we're revoking the one that we passed on November 25th. Because otherwise it's going to show we're moving this money and now we're moving this money. So I just wanted to make that clear.
All right, so that brings us to
133, 24, right. Councilmember wholesaling offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas the chief fiscal officer has determined that in order to maintain proper balances within various accounts, several inter-fund transfers are necessary. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Queens does hereby authorize Supervisor Stephen Donnelly to transfer the funds as depicted below for the budget year 2024. General Fund A, amount $1,299.92 from A1010.4 Town Board Contractual to account A1410.4 Town Clerk Contractual. 8 cents from A1010.4 Town Board Contractual to A1010.1 Town Board Personal. 27,000 from A1220.1 Supervisor Personal Services to A1420.4 Attorney Contractual. $14,690.05 from A1310.1 Finance Personal Services to A3020.4 Communications Contractual. $2,309 from A 1310.1 Finance Personal Services to A 5132.4 Garage Contractual. $2,350 from B 5410.4 Sidewalks Contractual to B 8020.4 Planning Board Contractual. $2,852.68 from B 9030.8 Social Security and Medicare to B 9010.8 New York State Retirement, and 36 cents from B 9030.8 Social Security and Medicare to B 9070.8 Dental Insurance.
I second that, and just to clarify, so the accounts on the right are all in the negative, and this is a cross leveling. For instance, look at the bigger one, the 27,000 for supervisor personal services to attorney contractual. Our supervisor personal services has that money in there because we didn't use floaters this year. I mean, we had Nancy for a bit, but that wasn't too expensive. And financial was the same. We didn't use a floater in it, so the communications contractual needed that money. And the same with the 8 cents. It's just leveling the town board personnel, and the $1299.92. And it's
That's not leveling though.
yeah.
Because my account actually is overdrawn $437.69 due to an Easy Pass purchase.
The town clerk contractual.
Yes, so I did call Regina today to ask her why it was $1,299.92, and there wasn't an excellent explanation. She said we need to recoup the $437.69 for Easy Passes, and she put extra in case there were other things. But as a department head, I just want to make sure you're all aware that I am only over $437.69.
So this is putting you plus.
Yeah.
And is that what's happening with the rest of the accounts as well? Are they being put in the plus by a certain amount of money?
Probably attorney contractual. I don't think A1310 finance. I think that's a level. Sidewalks contractual. That's the amount $2,350 for the Kennery training, because that was never budgeted for before last year. That's brand new. That's this year that he is charging that. And the Medicare and Social Security, the bills just came in high because insurance essentially guesstimates the cost. So those two, retirement and dental insurance, you can see one's 36 cents, just needed to be buttoned out.
And do these numbers, are they, so obviously this is the last month of the year, we're paying bills. Everything should be paid after we pay the bills, right? So are we expecting more bills for December?
Yeah, actually, probably from police, there's not a lot of bills. There are some bills coming in that we're waiting for.
So Steve, there is a period where the bills continue, because we're still writing checks in December. And so,
the end of January.
only speaking for myself, I'm trying to slow down to help Regina out, right? So try to stop writing stuff as we get close to the first of the year. But I do know in the past, sometimes you make an expenditure December 28th, and then that would get coded and it would get paid in January, but it would get paid from 2024. So there is, you're right, but there is still monies being paid towards the end of the year.
I got
Yeah.
stuff out there.
I think we all try to hold off, but sometimes you can't.
Because the majority of those vouchers were probably November vouchers that we were signing, right?
Yes,
Today.
yes,
Yeah, those were
We're gonna get December bills that we're gonna sign next month, yeah.
Yes, in January, so.
yeah.
It's hard to grasp that sometimes.
Yeah.
You're always a month, you're looking at something a month behind.
End of the year can get messy, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Mike is absent. Motion carries. I, Supervisor Donnelly, offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas in order to balance the 2024 budget, a budget transfer is needed. And whereas the supervisor would like to transfer the balance of $10,050 to Capital Projects Fund HN 7110.2. And now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Queens does hereby authorize Supervisor Stephen Donnelly to transfer the following funds as depicted below for the budget year 2024. This $10,050 is, the bathrooms are paid off, but this was never transferred at the beginning of the year, so Sarah and Regina are fixing it now so that Sarah can enter it into the general ledger. Is what that is for.
So we have confirmation that TNT were paid in full and FLAC was paid in full.
Yeah, FLAC was the the last one. So they're both open for business. Well, closed for the winter.
Right.
Anyone like to second
I'll
that?
second that.
Second by Councilperson Bruno. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I, Councilmember Bruno, offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas in order to balance the 2024 budget, a budget transfer is needed. And whereas the supervisor would like to transfer the balance of $100 to the DB fund. And whereas the capital project HM purchase of highway equipment is complete, the town board approves service on this project. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Queens does hereby authorize Supervisor Stephen Donnelly to transfer the following funds as depicted below for the budget year 2024. HM-599, appropriate fund $100. HM-9950, transfer to DB fund $100.
So before we proceed with a second, Supervisor, can you just explain, 'cause I'm aware of capital projects, but I am not aware of an HM 599 appropriation fund.
Yeah, this is a piece of highway equipment. There was $100 left in the fund. It's a back entry closeout for a capital project fund. And I don't know if Danny, you remember it. It's before Regina's time. She doesn't remember the exact piece of equipment. But Sarah wants to close out this fund because we're finished with it.
Sure.
So it was the purchase of some equipment that was done prior to you being the highway superintendent.
No, I think just
No.
prior to Regina being
Regina, but
business.
$100 doesn't ring a bell because that's extremely light compared to what I spent. So, it doesn't make.
So we have $100 sitting in an account that Sarah feels that this should be closed out. And so we're gonna transfer the money from the appropriated funds to the DB fund?
Highway fund, yeah, DB. But she should have put a code on there. Is it
I know,
DB
the HM 9950.9 doesn't,
But what's it going to? DB what?
It
Doesn't
says DB
say.
funds,
Oh. Well, it should have a code because there's a few DBs.
right.
I'm not sure.
I think that has to be clarified before we go any further.
So you're gonna hold it?
I'm not gonna second it.
If we mentioned what they did, I could probably answer it.
I just think it has to be clarified. I don't know, I mean, because it's coming from Sarah, I don't personally think that there's anything wrong, but I don't have enough information to be able to comfortably proceed. Because I don't know that this HM 9950.9, I don't know what that is. That's not in our budget.
Do you have a budget?
I do.
It's probably like a DBA, almost your general fund.
Yeah, there's a couple of that. I don't know what the HM fund is. That capital reserve?
Yeah.
No.
Right, so that may be, but again, it says it's being transferred to what? To what fund in DB?
Which one's 9950.9?
What was 9950 as a HM fund?
There is no 9950.9 under DB.
And here it says HM 9950.9.
Right, and there's no HM.
Yeah.
So. My position is that
Change the code.
Get some more clarification.
we get
on
more
that.
clarification.
Do we have highway contracts with the DB fund? We have highway machinery repairs, a DB fund.
Right.
You know, there's some other ones there, but I don't know. $100 doesn't, I don't,
And again, it's, you know, because Sarah is saying that we should do this, I have full faith and confidence in what she's telling us. But this resolution, I'm not comfortable passing just because it doesn't provide enough information.
the other thing I'll say is, and I hate to say it, but they don't always let me know when there's a transfer. Like if I requested the one for contractual, she did it, they did it, no problem. Sometimes they do it, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but I always don't know about it. So it's not the end of the world. I'd love to know, you know what I mean?
We'll have her clarify.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. I, Councilmember Schmidt, offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Be it resolved that the town board has approved the payment of bills as presented in the abstract for December 2024 as follows. Prepaid vouchers, 24-01526 to 24-01593 from the following funds. General, $333,168.25. Part Town, $46,430.66. Highway Part Town, $110,234.24. H Fund, 11 cents. Sewer, $48,573.21. Trust and Agency, $211,168.33. Voucher numbers 24-01594 to 24-01677 from the following funds. General, $75,209.42. Part Town, $10,855.08. Highway, $8,724.69. Highway Part Town, $28,453.63. H Fund, $57,650. Sewer, $23,898.19. And TA Fund, $1,860. Total for all funds, $946,455.81.
Second.
All in favor?
Just for discussion, Keith, you and I spoke earlier, just for going forward, your vouchers, you'll sign your vouchers rather than just have them printed. I appreciate that. There were some questions with regard to the vouchers earlier in the day today. There was some communication between Sarah Morrison and Regina Bryant, and I think all those questions were answered. So I think we're okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Upcoming meetings, we have on the 1st of January, our organizational meeting at 6 p.m.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
I noticed it was 3 p.m.
Yeah, it is 3 p.m.
Okay, let me make sure.
That's what I thought, yeah.
And we also have the 2nd of January, the workshop. And that's at 6.
It's the second.
Mhm.
January.
And then on the 9th of January, town board meeting at 6 p.m. And 13th of January, PBZBA meeting at 7. And another one on the 22nd at 7. And then the 23rd of January, town board meeting at 6 p.m. And
then we
we
got the
also have the
15th.
village on
15th
the
for the
15th.
village. Yep.
That's right.
Is that at 6 p.m.?
I believe it is, yeah.
Typically is.
The 16th?
The 15th at
15th,
6.
15th, okay.
Yeah.
Full month, okay. All right, it's public comment time. If anybody has anything, questions or comments, concerns, step to the lectern, please. Seeing none, I'll make a motion to, not today, to adjourn the meeting.
I second the motion to adjourn.
Ron seconded. All in favor?
Who made the motion? I'm sorry, Ron seconded.
I did, and Ron seconded it.
I'd have to go get, I'd have to go get.
All right. Got some stuff.